Hey everyone, my name is Josh, and welcome back to your fourth stimulus package and news update. We have a lot of news to get into in today's video, but first, if you would like to receive 2 free stocks from Webull valued up to $2,300, make sure to claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. Okay, so before we get into our reconciliation and stimulus bill updates for today, first, here's Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene introducing articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden. Reason for impeachment in her mind mostly being treason.
I have introduced House Res 57. These are articles of impeachment on President Biden for abuse of power in regards to his willingness to use his position of power to aid his son Hunter Biden and their business dealings. I've also introduced another article of impeachment on President Biden, which is HRES 597. This has to do with the national security crisis that President Biden has created with regards to the extreme threat at the southern border. I've introduced House Res 598, articles of impeachment on President Biden in regards to the failure in Afghanistan. And I've introduced House Res 596, articles of impeachment on President Biden for the COVID eviction moratorium and his willingness to use his position to try to do what he shouldn't be doing. We have 3 branches of power. Now, this is not an issue that is just important to me. This is an issue that's important to the American people. You see, the American people in polling just recently, there's a range between 60% of Americans that say that Joe Biden should be impeached, but it goes as high as 83% of Republicans think President Biden deserves to be impeached, 58% of independents, and 40% of Democrats agreeing that President Biden should be impeached for his failures to the American people as president. Let's talk about some of those failures. We can talk about the border alone. You see, here we have, and let's just talk about criminals coming across the border. U.S. Border Patrol has apprehended 9,728 illegal aliens with criminal records just in fiscal year 2021, in comparison to only 2,438 in 2020. This is a 325.8% increase in migrant encounters. It's up to 1.7 million migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border in fiscal year 2021, which ended in September. This is a massive increase in President Biden's failures to provide security for the American people. Also, Border Patrol agents arrested 53 illegal aliens with sex-related criminal convictions, and many of them had prior convictions for crimes involving a minor. In the same period in 2020, agents apprehended 58. In 2019, they apprehended 58 in total. 55 in 2020, 58 in 2019, but 353 in 2021. That is a massive increase. Let's talk about these types of convictions. These convictions include forcible sexual assault of a child under 14, sexual conduct with a person under 13, statutory rape, second-degree sexual assault of a child, and lewd acts with a minor. Del Rio sector in Texas, they have seen 3,166% increase in arrest of convicted sex offenders compared to the same time frame last year. This is a threat to the American people, and Joe Biden is failing on his job. We could go on and on with the statistics and the numbers, but I think plenty of people have done that already. So let's talk about what is the presidential oath of office. Joe Biden swore an oath. He said, "I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States." And he is failing to uphold his oath. You see, Article 4, Section 4 says that the U.S. guarantees each state against invasion. Joe Biden is failing the American people by refusing to uphold the law and the Constitution. But Afghanistan is where it really hurt. You see, Article 3, Section 3, Joe Biden could be guilty of treason. Our law says that levying war against the U.S., adhering to the enemies of the U.S., and giving aid and comfort is treason. President Biden did that by arming the Taliban with our taxpayer-funded U.S. equipment and weapons. He abandoned Americans in Afghanistan and seems to have no interest in getting them back. And only worse, he failed to ignore the intel that there was going to be an ISIS bomber and 13 of our soldiers were killed. I asked this committee to bring my articles of impeachment forward in hearings and markup, and I thank you very much for your time.
So, Marjorie Taylor Greene lists Biden's abuse of power, national security crisis with the southern border, the failure in Afghanistan, and for the COVID eviction moratorium. Now, even though she may want to see Biden impeached, it's not something that will end up happening just because Democrats have complete control of Congress. Now, if the Republicans take back the House in 2022, it is something they could try doing once or even multiple times like Democrats did with Donald Trump, and I think they probably will try to do just that, but until they take back the majority, there's not much they can really do. With that said, just out of curiosity, leave a comment below on if you believe any of the things Marjorie Taylor Greene accused Biden of should be impeachable offenses. Okay, so moving on to some updates for the reconciliation bill. Yesterday, Joe Biden had breakfast with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, where they hope to iron out some of the final details of the package with Chuck Schumer. After leaving the meeting, Pelosi said she believed a deal was within reach and that they should be able to finalize everything next week. So, according to Pelosi, they're definitely getting close. In a statement, Pelosi said, "There are many decisions that have to be made, but more than 90% of everything is agreed to and written." So, by next week, Democrats hope to sell both Manchin and Sinema on $2 trillion, which will include actions towards climate, expanding paid family leave, education, and childcare. They also hope to be able to come to some sort of an agreement on how it will be paid, whether that's raising taxes on corporations or on wealthy Americans. So far, Kyrsten Sinema has opposed raising taxes on corporations and wealthier Americans, so they may need to find a workaround, such as taxing wealthy Americans on assets they've already accumulated. Here is the leader of the House Progressive Caucus, Pramila Jayapal, expressing her frustration on not being able to raise taxes on the wealthy.
Well, Jake, it's good to see you. Good to be back with you. I don't know that to be the case. I will say that I agree with the speaker. I think this bill is going to be paid for. And I will also say that, we now have 49 Democrats in the Senate who are ready to do those tax increases. The American people overwhelmingly support them. And I would certainly hope that the last senator could come along with us. But either way, we're going to get this thing paid for, and we are going to get it done.
Is there an alternate way to pay for it? When Senator Elizabeth Warren was on the show yesterday, I asked her about Sinema's opposition to the highest ranking taxpayers' tax increase and the corporate tax increase. And she said, well, she had a legislation that would make corporations pay at least something in taxes if they made profits that year, a minimum tax for corporations. Is that one of the things being discussed? Like, what are other ways you can get Kyrsten Sinema on board while also getting this bill passed?
There is a whole set of options, and Senator Warren is absolutely right. I'm completely in favor of the real corporate profits tax that she has proposed. And there are some other ones as well that Senator Wyden has put on the table. The Ways and Means Committee has a whole list of options. So I do think we will get this paid for. And I think that there will be agreement around it. I do hope that it can include making the wealthiest corporations and the wealthiest individuals pay their fair share. I'll tell you, Jake, I have a lot of them in my state who have called me to say, you know what, we're willing to pay our fair share. We're okay with this. We think it's a good thing. So I'm not sure what the problem is here, because we're not talking about something unreasonable. We're actually talking about something that used to exist before the Trump tax cuts and rolling back the Trump tax cuts. So hopefully we get that. But if not, listen, there's lots of ways to pay for this. That is not the problem. We will get it done.
So again, next week, not only will they need to wrap up the final parts of what will be included in the bill and what it will all cost, but they'll also need to figure out a way to fund the package. Even though they have 90% or more of it agreed to, as Pelosi says anyways, the final 10% definitely won't come easy. So even though the goal is to reach a deal on reconciliation by next week, and hold a vote on the infrastructure bill, as well as the reconciliation bill, they still have a long stretch ahead. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Again, if you would like to receive a couple of free stocks from Webull, make sure to quickly claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. To receive the first stock, you will need to fully open an account. Then to receive the second free stock, which will be valued up to $2,000, you'll need to make a qualifying deposit of at least $5. And even if you aren't all that interested in investing or continuing to invest at this point in time, you can always sell the free stocks that you receive and transfer that money, however much they're worth, right back to your bank account. So free stocks or free money is completely up to you. So once again, I hope everyone has a great and safe rest of their day, and I'll see you in the next video.